You're listening to the Small and Supercharged podcast with Ria Freeman, episode 145. Hello and welcome to today's podcast. We're going to talk about a really cool feature, I really like it anyway, you might not, I do, on Instagram, which is called Guides. Now, I don't know whether you've seen it or not, but I have created a few, and I know quite a lot of people in Mastermind have also created a few of these clever little things, and I wanted to talk to you a bit about them because I think they have got huge amounts of value for anyone that uses Instagram, to be honest. I think for brand or business they're great because they allow you to put together specific guides, obviously, but groups of things that are connected in some way, and we're going to obviously talk through a few ideas anyway. But also for influencers, for brand ambassadors, they allow you to put together specific, again, groups of things, but that are connected to your passions or connected to brands that you work with, you buy from, etc., etc. So I don't know if you've found guides yet, but I'm going to show you where they are on my Instagram, because you'll probably then find them on everyone else's. So if you pop over to my Instagram and you get to the page where you can see my grid, above where the images stop, you've got the grid picture, you have got the Reels image, you've got the IGTV image, and then you've got something that looks a little bit like a guidebook. Yeah, you guessed it, that is where guides hang out. Now I have just got a couple here that I've done quite quickly. One is about podcast quotes and one is about Tip Tuesdays. But if you have a little look in them, what you'll see is that I have put together 30 posts, which is currently the maximum for a guide, and grouped them together. So I've grouped together 30 Tip Tuesdays and I've grouped together 30 podcast quotes in a guide. Now, if you tap on one of them, I've got my phone open because then I can talk you through exactly what I'm looking at. You'll see that you're allowed to put a title, you're allowed to add a little bit more information about what that guide is about. And then as you look through all of the different images, the different posts I've put in there, you can add titles and additional information on each one. Now, the great thing is that this is all in one place, but if I were to tap on one, it would then take me to that post on my Instagram. So as you can see, these are both post-based guides. At the moment, there are 3 different types of guide, and that is what we're going to go through now. So if you, on your Instagram, go to how you usually add a post to your Instagram. So for me, this is on my homepage where I can then just tap on the top right. I've got the box with the plus in the middle, and when I tap on that, I've got create, post, story, story highlight, IGTV, reel or guide. That's where it is on my update. It might not be quite there on yours, but have a look at your kind of create button where you normally put together your posts, etc., etc. So I'm obviously going to pick reel. And then what you'll see if you do this, you've got 3 different options. And again, these work really well for different people. So the first one is places. Recommend places in your city and beyond. So if you are an influencer, if you have got an account that shares amazing things from your local area, or you've got like a travel account, you love going to all the different places around the world, or even you're connected to, think about a lot of you lovely lot are horsey, places around key competition centres that are amazing if you're going to whatever place you're going to compete or to watch. Really cool places around there. You could create a kind of local guide for different areas. Obviously, if you have got a physical location, if you're a shop, you could maybe do something around your local area, shouting out other small businesses and amazing people like that. Or it could be a guide to participating in a specific sport or top picks for this or food places or anything like that. So I'm just going to tap on that just to show you. But I've got here choose places, and I've got a load of places that I have previously tagged. Some are a little bit random, I'll be honest. Some I have never been there, but some are not. And it means that you can then you can make a guide using the different places. So I'd really urge you to have a little play around with this because it's quite fun. And just like with the other guides as well, you can add your information. You can choose a cover, you can add a title, you can add what your guide's about, and then you can just move through adding places. So that's a really nice use for guides. It's not one that I've done because a lot of my stuff is digital. I tend to do more post-based ones, but that's just down to me. If you're a local business, it's a brilliant way of pulling around local attractions and having different guides maybe for different times of the year. If you want to promote a local business, again, it's great for that. If you want to do travel guides or things like that, as I said, brilliant for that too. Lots of really cool ways to use that one. The next one is products. Now this is really good for twofold. If you are a brand that sells products and you have got your Instagram shop working, it will allow you to put together groups of products from this. But if you are, again, an influencer, a brand ambassador, or if you just want to share some of the top picks that you've bought, when you click through to the shop section, so the product section, sorry, what it'll do is it'll show you the brands that you are connected with that have got shops that will then allow you to put together like a curated collection of things that you want to talk about and things that you want to feature. Now, if it is that the shops it's showing aren't the ones you want to share, that's fine too. You can use the search function and that will allow you to find different shops if they are on there and if you are able to access that information. So I'm just going to pop one in here for now. And then what it'll allow you to do on the next screen when you've chosen your person, your shop, it'll allow you to pick a product. It will then allow you to choose a post. And that can be from your post if you've got any from the shop. It's great like that, so I'm going to do that. And then on the next page, as before, it allows you to add more information. Then it will allow you to choose a different shop for your next post, and you can create really cool little style guides. It could be a great way to create a style guide. It could be a brilliant way to put together your favourite picks for different seasons. It could be a great way for you to showcase products from brands that you love. It could be like a kind of top picks section for you. And if you are a shop, obviously you could create different guides with products for new collections, different collections by name, different suppliers, different colours. There's loads of things that you can do within that function there. Now the one that is probably the fastest and the easiest, and the great thing is it uses only your content, just kind of by default, is posts. And this guide, as you guessed it, allows you to pick your posts and put them together in a guide. So when you click on that and you go through, it'll then show you your entire grid. And you can then tap on the images that you want to include and it'll just put a little tick in that corner. When you've highlighted them all, or you've highlighted some, it doesn't have to be all of them, you tap on next. And then what you can do is you've then got the guide here. So the first thing you do is you select your cover image. So I'm now looking at the top image here. I can add my title and I can change the cover image to any on my grid. And then we move through to the different posts and you can add your title, you can add what the post is about onto each one. But the good thing is with a guide, as I said before, when you tap onto the image, the video, whatever you're sharing, it will then go through to that main post, meaning that if you get any interaction, any engagement, any comments, it will be on the main post. You don't have to navigate your way through guides so you won't miss them. Now you can add up to 30, again at the time of recording. They may increase it, I don't know. But you can add up to 30 and you just need to go through and make sure that each one has got a title. And it's a nice idea to add a bit of text if you can. So the limit kicks in at 30 and it will tell you when you go over that limit. And then you just go through and you make sure you've added your title and you have added if you want to add a bit more about what the post's about, to each of those things. Now you do need to make sure that your guide has a title and a cover photo and at least 2 items. And each item also needs a title. If you don't do that, it won't allow you to progress. It won't allow you to go through to the point where you're publishing your guides. So if you have any issues, that could well be what the issue is there. Another way, if you have got guides going already and you have got the guides tab on your Instagram, is if you tap on the guides tab, underneath what you've already got there will be a box with a big tick in it, a big cross in it, sorry. And if you tap on that as well, it will allow you to create the kind of guide that you want to create. So I think these are great for a few reasons, but the main one, obviously I've run to a few different ideas, but the main one is because it can be difficult if we're posting every day, twice a day, even a few times a week. It can be difficult to group the same things together. Usually when we plan our content, we have a kind of rotation of ideas. So, I've said this before a few times. When you think about planning your content, really kind of think about the things that are core to you as a brand or your values, because they're the things that you want to get in a rotation and you want to be promoting regularly. So with me, for example, I try and do a motivational post on a Monday or a mindset post on a Monday. On a Tuesday, I'll try and share some kind of tip connected to brand development or social media or marketing or PR, because obviously I do quite a bit of that. On Wednesday, it's always podcast related. It just is. Thursday, a little bit more of a free-for-all, but it's more likely to be a product-focused post, whether that's as a product or service, but probably more mastermind or some of my courses, because they're a key part of my brand and what I do. Friday is usually a post around, a Fabulous Friday post around a member of Mastermind or someone I coach who I think is amazing. I mean, they all are. It's very hard to pick, actually. It's a post I love doing, but also one that I find it really difficult to pick, but that's a different subject. Then at the weekend, there's usually a horse picture. Sometimes it might be a quote or something like that. And the other day at the weekend, it's usually 2, 3, 4 podcast quotes again that are pulled from the podcast each week and shared. So there's quite a mix of stuff there. It goes from quotes and tips through to the podcast, through to members of Mastermind. There's lots of things going on there. I'd chuck a few reels in as well, because why not, right? But if somebody was really keen to look at the Fabulous Friday posts, for example, they would need to go through my grid and count 7, 8 back each time and then find the posts. Or what I could do is put together a guide showcasing the various members of Mastermind and who I mentor and coach, who I had pulled out for Fabulous Friday. Or if they wanted to find out about podcasts, again, I could go through and pull out every podcast main post that talked about the podcast that week and put those all together in a guide. Or if I wanted to put together all the tips or something like that, I could put them all together in one space, which would make it much quicker for people to consume my content. It just would. If someone was focused in on something specific, rather than having to trawl through everything, they could just get right to it. So if you are working with a brand, for example, it would be lovely to put together the posts for the different brands that you're an ambassador for, or the different brands that you are an influencer for, you work with, and putting together some guides, maybe around a brand to talk about the products that you've highlighted. Or if you are the brand or you are the shop, maybe you could put together a guide which showcases all your brand ambassadors through posts that you've already published onto your grid, for example. You could also, as I said, pull together your collections. It could maybe be a type of product. If you keep introducing new colourways, it could be a lovely way to put together a guide that showcases all the colourways that you've added over the last, 6 months. Rather than people having to scroll all the way through, they would know that all of those were available now. Thinking of equestrian sport, it could maybe be outfits for specific events or competitions. For horses, it could be stuff for different times of the year, must-haves for different seasons. I've shared quite a few ideas earlier in the episode, and I don't want to repeat myself, but you can see there's a lot of scope here to use the guides to group together similar ideas, similar thoughts, similar anything you want, really. I kind of look at them a bit like a booklet, a bit like a catalogue, or a bit like a mini book that you can use, or a lookbook. But the great thing is that you can do what you want to do with them. Rather than making people trawl through everything, you've put it all in one place. And it's nice as well because you can add a little bit more detail. It may not be the kind of thing you'd write as a caption, because, you know, when we put together a caption, we want to try and capture people's attention very early on. We want to encourage them to actively engage with our content. You know, there's lots of things that I think in a caption you would focus on that you wouldn't necessarily focus in on a guide description. It could just be, you know, another way to wear this, or this is our this, or this is our this, which would make a rubbish Instagram caption to put, you know, green sweatshirt, £40. That would be a pretty ropey Instagram caption. But as a description, if you put the product name, you put what colour it was, and you put how much it was, that would make perfect sense, because you're just adding a little bit more detail to the story, but there's a lot more to the story if they click through. Does that make sense? So I have to say, I do like the guides. I do like them. It's a shame you can't share them on your grid. So, you know, when you create a reel, or you create IGTV, anything like that, you have the option of posting a preview to your grid, which is really handy, which is definitely handy. Unfortunately, you don't get that with guides. But what you can do is you can share your guide as a story by just tapping on the paper airplane symbol. You can do that. You can also like the whole guide as a person, or you can comment on the whole guide as well. And you can also encourage people to save. And we know that fairly recently there's been a new little tab added onto Instagram that shows saved content. So at the top right on the guide, next to the dots, there's also the little saved tab you can tap on, and that will mean that your guides will appear in that person's saved section, which is obviously a really beneficial thing to do. And I think it's good from a guide point of view, because if you have someone who is collecting ideas, you know, where they want to visit, or products they want to buy, or ideas for certain times of the year, or events, or, you know, themed, whatever, you can get those all saved in one place. And I think that's a really useful function, and a really good way to use the save feature, but also a nice way, a good reason to create the guide. So rather than people having to go through and save each individual post, they can save the whole guide, which has got your up to 30 posts in, which makes it super easy for people to consume and absorb and enjoy the guide. So as I said, I have created a couple, and I know that quite a few other people have too. If you are listening to this podcast and you haven't done one yet, go and give it a spin. And if you want to share to stories and tag me when you've done it and say I heard it on the podcast or something like that, I would love to see what you have created. I think they can really have quite a lot of value, and I think they can add a nice bit to the story, and it just allows you to put those similar posts together without bombarding your audience with post after post after post after post to try and get that kind of continuation, and I really like that. So yeah, that's a really quick guide to guides, and the 3 different main types. As I said, at the time of recording, that is what there is. They may add more in the future, who even knows, but I think they're a fun thing to do. They do take a bit more time than you expect, because by the time you've gone through picture, cover, image, added your titles, added your description, it does take a bit of time, but you don't have to publish, you don't have to do it in one go. I've done them in steps before. I'm sure I've saved as a draft. So put a bit of time aside, but it can be a really nice thing to do. So yes, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it's been useful. As always, if you listen, please do screenshot and share to stories and tag me. And also, if you fancy being super kind and making my day, just put it out there. I would love it if you would consider leaving a review for the Small and Supercharged podcast wherever you listen. I love seeing that the podcast is making a difference to you, and the reviews, genuinely, they do absolutely make my day. Thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. If you want to know more about guides or reels or any of the features on social media, or indeed how to grow your business, making sure you're really utilising your marketing and social media skills, and being in a lovely supportive environment where each month there are marketing masterclasses, easy for me to say, mindset masterclasses, social media critiques, and weekly lives. Don't forget to check out the Small and Supercharged Mastermind group if you hop over to riafreemanpr.co.uk. The Small and Supercharged Mastermind is on the main menu bar and also on the Work With Me drop down. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really hope that's helped you and I hope you've enjoyed it. And we will catch up really, really soon. Have a great week.